All right, so what we're going to focus on now is polynomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c. Now this is going to be brand new to you, okay? This is a lot of new things coming at you at once, so make sure you're practicing this because this is crucial moving forward, okay? Now a little review from grade 9 stuff. So a monomial is something where you only have a single term. So 3x squared, 4x, maybe a constant, like 3, like maybe 2 would even be a monomial, so on and so forth. A binomial is where you have two terms. Remember, terms are split up by addition and subtraction symbols. And then a trinomial is 3. So this is what we're going to focus on, but in the form of this, where you have x squared, and then you have x, and then you have a constant. Okay, so to give you an example of the trinomials we'll be looking at, will be like x squared plus 2x minus 3, x squared minus 4x plus 8, so on and so forth. So you have a number in front of this x value, okay, and then you have a constant. Recognize sometimes that it'll be something like x squared plus x minus 1. Well, if you look at this, x here has a coefficient of 1. You can imagine a little 1 there, okay? So why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because we need to know how to expand and simplify two binomials by multiplying each other. So like down here, you can see I have two binomials, and how do I multiply them together? Okay. To simplify means once you've actually expanded this thing, we need to combine like terms. So we practice that in another video. We've already talked about how to expand monomials by multiplying by any just large polynomial. So that's like a single monomial, like 4x multiplying 3x minus 2 plus 8x. We've already talked about how to do that, right? You bring in your, let's use a better colored pen here. You bring your outside term and multiply it by every other term inside. So that was another video. So how do I multiply two binomials together? Well, to multiply two binomials together, what you're going to start off by wanting to do for practice is do the FOIL method. The FOIL method is laid out here. You want to first multiply the first numbers in each binomial. So here would be 2x times 5x. Okay, you can see they do that there, and you get 10x squared. And then you put it down. Then you do your outer numbers. So 2x times negative 8. So that's your outer numbers, and you multiply those two numbers together. So 2x times negative 8 gives you negative 16x. That goes there. Then you want to do your inner numbers. Your inner numbers are the numbers right beside each other, or inside the two binomials. You multiply them together, so 3 times 5x, that gives you 15x, and you place her there. And then L stands for last. So 3 times negative 8 gives you negative 24. And then what you can see happens here is they combine like terms. 16 plus 15x gives you negative x. So this is the expanded form of this binomial multiplying a binomial. So just so you understand, the FOIL method, what's happening here is all you're making sure the thing you're making sure that you do is you multiply every number in one binomial by another number in the other binomial. So if you look here, if we look here, 2x gets multiplied by each number in the other binomial. 3x gets multiplied by each number in the other binomial. You can simply see that all we're doing is we're multiplying every term in this binomial by every term in this binomial. The FOIL method is just something that you can use to start off with to get used to multiplying every number here by every number here. So let's do an example here. This is example 1, and we want to expand and simplify the following. So we have two binomials multiplying each other, x minus 4 multiplying x plus 2. So here, I'm going to do FOIL. Okay, so remember, we got a first. The first thing we want to do is multiply the first numbers. So x times x. So that'll be x times x, and that gives me x squared. So I'm going to write this down, x squared down here. Then I'm going to do the outer. That's x times 2. So x times 2, well, that gives me 2x. So that will be plus 2x down here. The inner number will be negative 4 times x. And that gives me negative 4x. And then the outer number, or sorry, the last numbers. So there's my last and there's my last. Negative 4 times positive 2. And that gives me negative 8. So I have now expanded, but I need to simplify. Simplifying is collecting all like terms. So remind yourself what all like terms are. We have we talked about that in the last video. It's just simply numbers that have the same variables that have the exact same exponents. So here, 2x and negative 4x are like terms. So I can do 2 times negative 4, and that gives me negative 2x. So I can write this out as x squared minus 2x minus 8. And there is my expanded and simplified version of x minus 4 times x plus 2. Let's go over here and work on this one. So again, we're going to FOIL this out in order to expand it. My first numbers are 8 and 3, so 8 times 3. And 8 times 3 will give me 24. So this will equal 24. My outer numbers is 8 times negative b. And that gives me negative 8b. And then we can write that down here. My inner numbers is negative b times 3. So negative b times 3. That will give me negative 3b. And then my last numbers is negative b and negative b. So negative b times negative b. Two negatives multiplying each other will give you a positive, and then b times b is b squared. So this will be plus b squared. And then here, I want to combine like terms, okay? So here I have two like terms, negative 3 and negative 3b. And that's going to form negative 3 minus negative 8, or negative 8 minus 3, is negative 11b. So I can write this out as 24 minus 11b plus b squared. Now, I could stop here, but this is something to be really apparent and important to understand. Usually you write your first variable with the largest exponent first, and then you go in descending order. So this has the largest exponent, this has the second largest exponent, this has no exponent. So I would usually write this as b squared minus 11b plus 24. Okay, and now you can see this has the form of what we were talking about at the beginning, b squared minus 11b plus 24. That is pretty much x squared plus bx plus c, where x is b. Okay, so let's move forward and try a few other questions here. So let's do one more together, and this last one you can kind of try out on your own here. So here I have my first letters, so c and c. That will be c times c, which gives me c squared. My outer, c times negative c. And that gives me negative 7c. Okay, so this will be minus 7c. My inner numbers are these two numbers, 3 and c. So 3 times c equals 3c. And then my last values is 3 and negative 2. So positive 3 times negative 7. So positive 3 times negative 7 for my last numbers there. That gives me negative 21. And remember, we have to combine like terms. So my like terms are negative 7c and positive 3c. So I'm going to combine these and do negative 7 plus 3, which is negative 4c. And we can write this out as c squared minus 4c minus 21. And there is my solution for that one. Now here, remember, FOIL is just a method to make sure you're multiplying each number in the one binomial by every other term in the other binomial. So here I'm not going to do FOIL. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I multiply -3 by both of these values. And I'm also going to make sure I multiply p by all the other values. So here, let's start off by multiplying -3, -3, and b, or p, sorry. So -3p equals -3p. And then I'm going to do -3 times 1, which is -3. Now I multiplied -3 by both terms in the other binomial. So now I go to the next term in the first binomial. And let's do p times p, which is p squared. And then p times 1, which is positive p. And now I want to combine like terms. So my like terms are -3p and positive p. So this is essentially just -3p plus 1p, which will be -2p. And remember, I want to write in descending order. So I'm going to start with p squared, then go to my next largest exponent, which will be -2p, and then my constant -3. There is your expanded form. So remember, FOIL is an awesome method when you're first learning, but you can start getting a little fat, and you can use arrows to show yourself what I have to multiply next. So this is going to act as part 1, and if you can watch part 2 now, that would be great. It'll be essentially going the other way. How do I get this to turn into this? And that's called factoring. So maybe go practice expanding and simplifying, and then come to the next video.